Good morning and welcome to our midweek edition of Summit, which comes to you live from our studios here in MITV, here in Lagos. My name is Jumoke Michaels. Good to be with you again. Banji, good to be here again.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You look great.
You look great too.
But I'm aware that you've gone through some stress this morning.
Oh, you can say that
again. You made it here.
Ogba area to Jodubega and all those areas. Just lockdown.
Spillover from the express.
Yes, from the
from Lagos Ibadan Express Road.
Yes.
That last night there was a case of
Jakarta broke down.
Not just breaking down. There was a case of a fire incident on the express. A truck actually caught fire, and even up till now, we are not sure whether it's been removed.
Yes,
so it's
been
caused
removed. So yeah, the backlog is actually very
so
high.
much,
Yeah.
and it may take some hours for some people to get to work. Thank God you are here.
Oh, thank God I'm here.
So my name is Banji Busari. It's our midweek edition, just as Jumoke said, and it promises to be very exciting.
Yes, today on the program we are actually putting our focus on Ogun State. You know, 2 weeks ago...
We attempted it.
Yeah. 2 weeks ago we attempted it, that's the right word. But our guests couldn't make it to the studio due to the
same reason that we are currently...
Traffic issue.
You know what he told me this morning? He said he doesn't know why the traffic chooses to actually occur on Wednesdays. Today he chooses
Okay, but thank God he was able to maneuver his way out of the traffic to be able to get to the studio.
No, not just maneuver. He had to go through Ikorodu access to get, and it took him 4 hours to get to MITV. But we appreciate him so much.
Oh yeah, thank God he's here. So today is for those who have questions. We want to have some clarification on issues. You'll be able to send us an SMS this morning for him to respond to your contribution or questions as the case may be. So we'll be putting the number on the screen very early today so that you can begin to send us your messages so that as he's talking, we'll also be able to clarify these issues. Very important. So Ogun State people, today is for you. And even though you're in Lagos and you also have one thing or the other you want clarified, you can send us an SMS. And so today we have joining us the special advisor to the governor of Ogun State, Dr. Dapo Abiodun, on media and communications. I'll still keep his name. When he joins us on set, we'll mention his name. But Ogun State people, today is for you because the focus is on Ogun State. We'll go on a quick break, and when we return, we'll have our guest with us in the studio. So please stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for still being there. The program is still Summit, and like I said, today our topic is Ogun State in focus. And joining us for the discussion today, we have the Special Advisor, Media and Communications, Ogun State, the person of Honorable Remmy Hazzan. You're welcome, sir. Happy New Year. You're welcome.
Most of actually appreciating you. It's a great sacrifice for you to actually be here. It shows your appreciation of the synergy that exists between us and your government. As Dr. that Abiodun's led administration. Thank you very much. That's integrity.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
All right, I think the burning issue in Ogun State right now is the issue of the Remo Club football member that was killed over the weekend in Ogun State. Tiamiyu Kazim. Yeah.
And yesterday the governor was actually paid a condolence visit to the family of the deceased. That's it's a sad incident, and we know it took the intervention of the governor for the crisis to actually come down. People were actually outraged, angry, and they went all out.
And the protest yesterday.
Protests. And it caused 2 more people died. So how are you handling the entire situation?
The government is run in the state under the very proactive government with an encompassing structure, security inclusive. We don't wait for situations to go from bad to worse before the needful is done. There was a statement issued by the governor on Saturday concerning that matter, and it was followed up with a visit by highly placed people in government, the Secretary to Government, and some of our people in government as well, to talk to the leaders, the youths, and what have you. It was unfortunate that it degenerated into a very violent protest, because it began as a peaceful one. And of course the people are entitled to their right to protest, because if a young man is brought down in his prime like that, nobody will applaud such a move. But of course we realize that it is also a product of some administrative misjudgment by the hierarchy of the police, because those who were responsible for that came from the zonal intervention squad of the AIG, and you know the seat of the AIG is in Lagos, even though he oversees both Ogun and Lagos State. However, we know that police in their wise trade decided that whenever anyone is operating in any area, you make an entry to either the DPO or the station commander wherever you are operating, so that they will be aware that that intervention squad is there. But these ones didn't do anything of such. It means that the good intention of the IG in putting that in place has been abused. And that's why you see that in the whole of the country, all such squad have now been completely brought down, and they've been told now to be placed under the direct supervision of the Commissioner of Police in the state. It makes for more proactive measures so that such excesses can be caught.
Well, that's a very worst case, one of the worst cases of extrajudicial killings in the land. Now, beyond the killing of the unfortunate death of Kazim Tiamiyu, what's the state actually doing to actually put an end to this kind of unfortunate incidents? I'm aware that the Speaker, House of Rep, that's Honorable Jamia Miller, has actually condemned the act, and he said it's unacceptable. But at the state level, what are you actually doing to forestall future occurrences?
You will see that is the effort of the state, ably led by President Abiodun, to speak up on this issue that has prompted the decisions taken by the hierarchy of the police at the level of the IG, disbanding the zonal intervention squad and ensuring that every policeman must make entry into the divisional office wherever he has an assignment to carry out, so that they will be aware. Maybe they thought it was a foolproof arrangement before. This play out has actually made them now to sit up. That's one achievement we can take out of this. Look at it on another broad spectrum. You will see that as a state, we are now beginning to pay more attention to areas in our domain that need to get a little more beef up in terms of security, because it took us requiring the beefing up of security by bringing men from outside of the Shagamu area command before normalcy could be achieved there. That now tells us that the Security Trust Fund that we have in the state, we need to look at that area and see how the entire security architecture can be redesigned to at least be able to curtail this before it ever happens again.
All right. All right, I would like us to start our discussion also with the issue of projects that Dr. Abiodun's administration met on ground. Is there a continuum, or the new administration is churning out its own projects? How are they handling that?
We go into that. Let me first of all mention about what is going on in Ogun State today. I should also have been in that program, but because this was initially scheduled, that's why I had to come. In Ogun State, at about this time, the governor is doing the groundbreaking ceremony of the Ijebu-Ode Ekwe Dual. And that project is to take off from this minute, and in the next 12 months, it is expected that it will be commissioned. That is another epoch-making effort of the administration. Now, to go back to the question you raised, we believe as a government that government is a continuum. And in accepting that concept of the continuity of government, you inherit both the assets and the liability. Some projects were conceived wrongly, but whether we like it or not, the money invested in them is Ogun State money. And abandoning them is joining in the wastage of the resources of Ogun State. And that is one thing that this government has decided not to do. However, some of those projects did not get detailed mention in the handing over documents. We don't know how much the contractors have been paid. We don't know the contract sum, whether original or reviewed in terms of variation and what have you. We don't know if with the level of job done by those contractors, we are the one owing them payment, or they are the ones owing us jobs for which payment are already made that they have not done. So in the wisdom of the governor, a committee was put together called the Project Review Committee. And that committee is to take every project on its merit and begin to appraise it. What was the original contract sum? What was the project all about? How far has it gone? Who is the contractor handling it? And all of that. With the report they will submit, the government will now be able to take a definite decision on them, rather than taking decisions in abeyance, such that you are taking an ill-informed decision. However, those projects will continue. That is the assurance the governor has given everyone. Some of them that are not particularly hindered by this review, in the course of the taking over, whatever needed to be done, they had been done. One of them is the judiciary complex, which was commissioned uncompleted in the last administration.
Uncompleted?
Uncompleted. Whatever it was that was done was just ceremonial, because quite a lot of things were still waiting to be completed at the time that it was commissioned. However, it was under this administration that those jobs were finally done, and it was now made habitable for the entire judiciary to occupy. So some of them like that need little of such effort of the review committee were not affected. But the major ones are affected by this. An interim report has been submitted by this committee, and the projects covered under those ones are receiving immediate attention. The final report we're expecting in a few weeks. When they come, we'll revisit all these projects and work will resume.
Okay, now that says the one you just, congratulations for the groundbreaking ceremony of the Ijebu-Ode Ekwe. But that's the state road, I suppose.
It is a state road.
Now, I'm aware that recently the governor actually requested that state of emergency be declared of the roads, I mean federal roads in Ogun State. Which roads did he actually have in mind?
There are about 4 of such roads that we have in mind. The Ikorodu-Shagamu road is one. On that axis, you have major industrial concerns there, and a very high population of those who reside in Ogun State, who work in Lagos State. They are there. So beyond the industry, there are citizens who reside there. And they travel through that same road. It is on that road that you have Lafarge, the second largest cement factory in the whole of sub-Saharan Africa. Is also there. Now, the Lagos-Abeokuta Expressway is another of such road. It's a major road connecting Lagos and Ogun State. The Papalanto-Shagamu road is another one. Ibeshe is one of the largest cement factories in Africa. It's in Ogun State. The number of trucks coming out of Ibeshe on daily basis is countless. And that road will be the easiest for them to connect with other parts of Nigeria. But the road is in serious state of disrepair and is a federal road. And of course, you have the Adaton, Bonogun, Odeda road linking Abeokuta and Oyo State.
Oyo State.
So those are critical ones. There are many others, but these ones will immediately boost commerce between the two states, as well as the entire part of Nigeria. We have investors willing to partner with us, and I must first of all give this bit of synopsis. Road infrastructure is a peculiar kind of infrastructure that private sector participation is at its lowest ebb. Why? It's difficult for investors to recoup their investment if such roads are not tolled. As of today, the policy of the federal government is that no tolls. But let us ask ourselves, the same federal government collect tolls on airport roads. You don't access any airport facility in this country without paying tolls. So if it is good for airport road, why not other roads? Therefore, we are saying, hand these roads over to us. We have put in place a private public partnership law in Ogun State, and a PPP office has also been opened. And investors, based on those arrangements made, are willing to put their money. But if those roads are not handed over to us, we can't assume possession or ownership as to now say, contractors, go in, develop, we have an understanding. Because there is now a third party to it who may say yes or no. And the decision of that third party can frustrate the kind of arrangement we're going to have with these contractors. And that is why you see us using moral suasion to allow the federal government release these roads to us so that those willing investors can take over these roads immediately and begin to work. People don't care how you build the road. Whether you borrow or you bring in an investor to put down money, they just want roads. And that's the thinking of our government, that allow us to take over these roads and bring in those who can build it. At the end of the day, it's a win-win situation because it actually costs the federal government nothing to release these roads to us.
All right, please want to remind our viewers that you can begin to send us your SMS to 080-233-47006. The number is there on the screen. Ask your questions. Please, only SMS. Just send us an SMS, please. We will not be able to pick your calls, and ask 1 or 2 questions or contribution towards our discussion that he can respond to. Well, I'm still talking about state of emergencies. The governor also declared a state of emergency in the education sector to address the ills plaguing that sector. I think he even went back like 3 or 4 years to address issues of promotions that have been delayed to teachers both in the primary and secondary schools. Could you tell us a bit more about that sector?
Now, the state of emergency on education is an all-encompassing one. It covers the infrastructure in that sector, because on the 29th of May, I remember I was in a studio, the 28th or 29th, either a day before or a day after. I was in a radio studio in Lagos in a program like this, and papers were being reviewed. And on the front page of Punch, it was the picture of a derelict, obsolescent, and dilapidated primary school in Ogun State, where pupils are learning, sitting on broken blocks. And that was an eyesore by our standard. It simply means that the environment where those pupils were learning is not a very good environment where someone will learn anything meaningful. It also means also that the teachers there are also in the same environment teaching. So if the environment is not conducive both for the teachers and the taught, then you can as well begin to imagine the final product that will come from there. So a decision was made by the governor that an emergency will be declared to address infrastructure as well as manpower in the primary and the secondary level. And what have we done so far? We've taken a primary school block in each of the 236 wards. We're not yet up to 236, but that is where we're going. And we deliberately as a government have decided that each of such blocks will be completely renovated to make them habitable for teaching and provided with all the facilities that is required therein. And going forward also, for a start, 5,000 teachers will be employed to beef up the manpower gap that we have in the primary and secondary education level. And just 2 weeks ago, the aptitude test to midwife the employment of those 5,000 was carried out. And we're believing that between now and end of March, each of the successful candidates should get their letters of employment. Those are the immediate steps we have taken. There are other things that we're doing about our primary and secondary education. But in interim, those are the things that have been done. And each of those schools, when you get to them, uniquely, they have a yellow roof, just to let you know that that happened in this administration.
Okay, let's extend that to health. What's actually happening in the area of health sector? I'd like to know your administration's strategy or maybe the roadmap for the health sector. That's the primary and health tertiary institutions. How well are you actually attacking that?
For the health sector, our strategy is similar also to that of the education sector. We're attacking infrastructure. We're also looking at manpower. For us as a state, we've always had what looked like a very good base to thrive medically. But it turned out that the foundation of that success began to break down. And I'm talking about the primary health care system, which is the first line of contact between medical practitioners and the patients. There are some ailments that do not need to escalate to the secondary health facility, the ones we call the general hospital or the state hospital. Primary health care center, at that level, you can treat minor diseases, malaria, typhoid, and what have you. Even the antenatal women that are expectant, at some level, they are also handled at this particular level. This level broke down completely, especially in the last 8 years. And that put pressure on the secondary health facility. What we want to do now as a state is to now say, revive the primary health care facilities. They exist in almost every ward. If you have any place where they don't exist, there will be very few. There are even some wards that have up to 4 or 5, based on the population demography of that place. And we have now decided that in each of the wards, at least one will be completely refurbished, and personnel, nurses, lab technologists, midwives, will be employed there. And depending on the availability of funds and the closeness of some of these facilities, maybe one doctor to handle 3, 4 of such facilities, because we can't deceive ourselves. There's no way we can put one doctor in each primary health care facility. In Ogun State today, we have 520 of them.
Doctors.
Of such facilities.
Such facilities.
So attempting to employ 520 doctors is a tall order. Tomorrow, our finances may change, and this may begin to be our reasoning. But at this level, let's be proactive and do what is achievable. That is one leg of what we are doing. Now, our doctor-to-patient ratio in Ogun State today is 1 doctor to 5,000 patients. And that, to us, even if it is one of the best in the country, it appears to us like what should not be.
It shouldn't really be in any civilized society.
What we are planning to do, the UN standard is 1 to 1,400, which is the last I saw of the WHO standard. We will get there. However, we are looking at, before the end of this administration, first tenure, we want to achieve 1 to at least 3,000, so that we will have laid the foundation to moving to the WHO standard, because at that point it just requires us to double what we have on ground to get ourselves to that level that is the global best practice. So manpower, employment of doctors, nurses, and what have you, is also part of it. Now, we have had some mileage in the health sector. The secondary health facility in Ilaro, which is the state hospital there, is having the best of movement, because the attention of the governor in the first 100 days in office was concentrated on that one and the one in Ijayi in Abeokuta. And they have all the state-of-the-art facilities you can think of at this time. So cases that they hitherto couldn't attend to because of those shortage of equipment, they now can conveniently attend to them. Of course, this is a work in progress. Don't forget that the last administration built a, is it 250 or 500 bed hospital that was also commissioned uncompleted in Abeokuta. When the project review committee completes its assignment, we will face that particular project and do the needful about them to take our health care delivery system to yet another level. So the approach in the education sector is not particularly different from that of the health sector. Manpower development and what is it called? Infrastructural development as well.
Myself and Jumake, we've anxiously waited for you, though you are not the head commissioner of the state. We've actually anxiously waited to hear anything about your preparedness for Lassa fever. Is there anything you're doing to actually forestall?
Oh, Lassa fever for us in Ogun State, it was challenging, but we were able to subdue it. The advocacy that the state government did in terms of bringing awareness into the public space for people to embrace preventive measures, wash your hand well at all times, use hand sanitizer, ensure that your food is well cooked. Lassa fever is spread by rats, and what they do is they pee on your food. If you have any remnant of food that you have left
uncovered,
cover it so that rats don't have access to it. One of the things that they do is they go into our cassava flakes, the one we call gari, and pee on it. So if you have to soak that gari raw like that, you just might contact.
So it's more sensitization.
It's more sensitization.
However, what about in terms of
we have
manpower and equipment to actually detect and then cure?
The facilities in Ogun State, the Olabisi Onabanjo University Teaching Hospital in Shagamu, the Federal Medical Center in Abeokuta, the State Hospital in Abeokuta were used as centers that were directly attacking the issue of Lassa fever. But in all of the period that it was highly prevalent in the whole nation, we had only one case discovered. And that was a case of a pregnant mother who was diagnosed of the Lassa fever in the Federal Medical Center in Abeokuta. And of course, the case was managed. As usual in the health practice, the Lassa fever treatment center in the entire South is in a place called Irua in Edo State. Now, once you have been able to stabilize the patient, you move the patient to that facility for further management. And the last we heard of that case was that the woman had delivered, the baby is fine, Lassa fever free, and the mother too is completely free of the virus as well. So we can as well conveniently say that Ogun State is Lassa fever free at this time.
All right, let me just read 2 messages that you can respond to from here. This person is Olayinka from Agbado area of Ogun State. Please, we need a motorable road on, is it Agbado Road? Agbado linking Agbado, Ijoko.
Or is it Agbado?
Oh, okay.
Or Agbado.
I think I know.
Yeah, Agbado Road linking Agbado, Ijoko area. There are lots of people living there and working in Lagos. Please help us do the needful, sir. And another person is saying that, why is Mowe area always forgotten in development? No good road, lack of basic amenities. Is only during election period that government remembers our vote.
Did he put his name?
So no, he didn't put his name. So let's look at that. Agbado and Mowe area.
Agbado Ijoko Road is an ongoing project. If we were to probably have started that project, one of the things we will have first done is to provide alternative routes, even if it's going to be a slow-paced traffic, but provide alternative routes. However, the government of the last administration decided to hit the road head-on, kind of, and not completing it now made the entire neighborhood completely locked out. That, by all means, is disingenuous. Now, what this government wants to do concerning that road is to ensure that at least one of the lanes is completed and made passable, while the other one can wait a little till resources improve. It's also one of the roads we are thinking that our partners, in terms of PPP arrangement, will take up in executing. But we can't do anything until the project review committee submits its report.
How long will the project review committee?
Like I said, we're expecting their final report before the end of March.
Okay.
Yeah. Once that happens, decisions will be taken on all these projects, especially the critical ones that are affecting the daily life of people. For Mowe, like most...
We always forget Mowe is actually in Ogun State.
Are you confirming what you said?
Relax. I will attend to that question. I live in Mowe, but I live at the redemption camp. So
okay.
I'm also a stakeholder, an interested party in
that area.
Whatever sentiment that we want to bring out about Mowe. Most of the communities along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway are offshoots of the saturation in Lagos. Unfortunately, the Ogun State government of the past, most especially, did not do enough. Not that they didn't do anything. They didn't do enough to prepare for that overflow that was meant to come. And more will still come, whether we like it or not. Because
especially with the recent ban,
the limit of the elasticity of Lagos is beginning to reach its
busting point.
So Ogun cannot escape soaking up the overflow from Lagos. Now, some of those settlements emerge out of the decision of the early dwellers there to settle there and provide their own facilities. And before the government woke up, they became heavily populated places, blighted, unplanned, and what have you. Now, if any major planning will be done now for such places, there will be a high rate of demolitions and what have you. So, however, there can be a guided urbanization that will still come, which is one of the decisions we took in the Executive Council meeting a few weeks back, which is to replan some of these areas based on realities on ground, so that we don't inflict too much pain, but that there will be no pain at all. People should forget that. That will happen. However, the last administration decided to start a major road construction linking Mowe, Ofada, and Owode. That road is maybe 40% completed. At least one of the lanes is passable. It's one of the places we're going to revisit as well. The federal government has a plan as well at the Lotto Junction to have a link road into the satellite towns of Mowe itself. And we want to harmonize our own bigger plan to that plan so that at the end of the day, the entirety of the place will be a sane place to live. Not just because the people that are maybe classified as Lagos reject will find a haven, a safe haven in Ogun State. Ogun State too can be far more beautiful than whatever it is that Lagos boasts of. And those are the things that this government is doing. However, in all of that, notwithstanding, there are some critical roads in some of these communities that can be handled by the Public Work Agency, the Ogun State Public Work Agency. Some of those roads have been
as palliatives for now.
Yes, so that they can immediately resume work and make these places
especially before the rains come again.
Yes. So those ones are there, and they are in stages. If we have short-term intervention, we should have medium-term plan, and the long-term plan is the final plan, master plan that will make this place safe.
Honorable, people are really bombarding you here. I have so many messages coming in, and most of it, and most of it is concerning the roads. You know, let me read this one. It said, Agbado Karo. Is it not the same place he has just? Is it not the same place with? Okay, not okay.
But the road links to this major one I mentioned.
Okay, so it needs a bailout. Sango Ojoju Road is abandoned, and
that's the one I mentioned.
Rail crossing between Ijoko and Lagos State. I guess it's costing them. Engineer Salisu is. When are you coming to Ita Oluwo? Am I getting it correctly? For revenue and no government presence in that area.
It's okay.
Okay, so
noted.
All right. Please, can you tell us the plan Ogun State government has in putting in place is putting in place to fix Ota to Itele and to Agbara Road?
Agbara is a major priority for this government because Agbara Industrial Estate is a cash cow for us as a state. And even while he was still a candidate, the governor visited. When he was elected and yet to be sworn in, the governor visited. And he has also been there once or twice in the life of this administration. It is because we did not put forward the mentality of tending the goose that lays the golden egg. That's why Agbara degenerated to that extent.
Very bad.
And we, as a state, under this administration, are beginning now to do what will even make more industrial concerns begin to think of establishing in Agbara rather than allowing those that are there leave because the road infrastructure is broken down. The entire road for Agbara is what will get attention before the end of this first tenure because it's part of our plan. However, the Tele Ota may be one of those that will be given out to the PPP arrangement thing, and it may end up being told as well because whatever is good costs money, and if those that are bringing their money to fix it need to recover their money, we should all just be partners in progress. So plans are in place to address Agbara. Is an intervention that is a priority to this government.
All right. What is government plan to link places like Matogun and its environs to the road network of the state?
Matogun is a place around Agbado area too. And I'm aware that along the Agbado-Okearo, which is the road linking the Agbado axis to Iju, Ishaga area, we also have a plan. As a matter of fact, every road linking Ogun and Lagos State is a priority for this.
Those border towns.
Exactly. And we have successfully completed one of them, which is the AIT Ota Road. It stretches some...
I live in that axis, I can confirm that.
The road is completed. And those are one of the roads that we'll even attacked as a priority taking off in this government. And if that could be achieved, and the commissioning can be anytime soon, it simply means that every other one is also achievable. But have it at the back of your mind that as they are crying in Matogu, that's the same way they are crying in Ijebu. That's the same way they are crying in Yewa. Everybody wants attention. We want to be fair to everybody so that we don't concentrate it
Too
in
much
one
on
place.
one place.
And that's why we're willing to give some out to private sector investors that are willing to bring their money. The peculiarity of road, like I told you, is because it has the least private sector participation, because there's no incentive to recouping capital and making profit.
Is that why the consideration for toll gates
That's
is
why
coming?
we are looking in that direction,
Yeah.
because it makes sense after all. If you will have to pay something little and your travel time is sufficiently shortened for you to have value for money, why not if not?
Okay, Honorable, Special Advisor on the Media and Communication, so much has actually been said about what you intend to do. But I'm also, even though I'm not part of it, I am also concerned about how do you intend to actually raise funds to actually embark on this? Do they not sound very ambitious? But I'm aware, I don't know what your plans are in the area of agriculture. I'm aware recently you brought in some investors from America that's to boost agriculture in the state. Now, what are the plans in the area of agriculture to engage people, for instance?
40,000 borrowers.
Let me quickly first talk about the issue of funds. For us as a state, the first thing that we met staring us in the face is the one we tagged Ogun State.
Ogun State?
Yes.
Say that in English.
It simply means
That's full of no money.
Of no money. But when you ring the bell of complaint too long, it becomes a nuisance in the ear of those that are hearing.
Voted for you.
Yeah.
And we can't continue to ring that particular bell of complaint. If this is the challenge, what are the other ways out by which we can go around this challenge and still have some reasonable level of success? One of the things we did was we revived the almost moribund and dead facility request from World Bank, which the last administration did. It was almost dying because at some point, World Bank usually, whenever they want to give you a facility, most of their facilities are interest-free, especially this particular one that we got in the state. They expect you to show integrity in fund employment. So something was released to the last administration, $5 million precisely, to do some bit of project implementation. And when World Bank will now come around and ask, what have you done with that seed we gave to you? The result will propel them to proceed with the pending request you have with them or not. And it turned out that what was on ground was not in any way impressive. And we were almost losing that request. It was looking like it's a dead issue. But this administration put structures in place, employ people that are credible, that have international reputation, and put in place a transparency in government that appealed to the World Bank. At the end of the day, approval came 2 weeks ago. Though there was a slash from the $350 million to $250 million. That is better than nothing. And once those monies begins to come, infrastructure in many departments will begin to get attention. That's on one side. We're looking at opening up some of our free trade zones to allow for them to be optimized. It is when they are in use that we can begin to get some bit of revenue in terms of taxation and what have you from them. Even in the area of sale of land, because once you open up a place, land becomes a very valuable commodity. Along Ijebu-Ode-Ekpe Road now, government has been proactive enough to immediately acquire most of the land around that dual carriageway and begin to think of putting estates there so that those who want to work in Lagos and live in Ogun State, there will be something on ground for them. And if you want to also buy land and build your own house. That's a very proactive way of thinking. And many more that I may not.
Is that the Home Charter's account? Home Charter's.
No, the
homeowners charter
is a
okay, it's different thing. Okay.
That one is to address the issue of those who built on acquired land.
Yes.
Okay.
And government is now trying to legalize their illegality.
Okay.
That's what the homeowners charter is all about. Now talk of agriculture. Our program in agriculture is focused, is deliberate. As a matter of fact, is the major panacea we have to solving both our food security problem and unemployment problem. Now, the CBN Anchor Borrowers Program, for example, we have, for a start, 10,000 beneficiaries who will each get 2 hectares of land to grow prescribed crops, not the one they will grow and they won't have buyers for it. The buyer is discussing with you from the time of
harvesting.
Government is clearing the land for you, preparing it. We're also giving the seedlings.
Really?
Yes. Now, when they go in, majority of them will be cassavas though, because the biggest cassava processing factory in the whole of West Africa is in Ogun State.
Where in Ogun State?
Somewhere around the Ogun Central. I'm not sure of the particular location now, but I will mention it if, because of the program, I still remember. Now, when these crops are growing, we are paying these farmers allowance to sustain them through the gestation period of these crops. At harvest time, the off-takers, which are the people in need of those cassavas, will come, pick them up, and pay you internationally acceptable price, not the local type of price we pay for our gari and what have you. And with that, government will now say, all of our investment on you, can you pay back some or all if you can? Then go into the next season having money already.
Do you have the 10,000 people now, or you
Yes,
are calling? Are you calling for people to be part of it?
Oh, we have 10,000 already.
Okay.
If anybody is interested, we have a job portal, which is a portal we created for those who are either unemployed, underemployed, or even unemployable. We can begin to think of how to empower you to become employable. So go onto that portal. Whenever the next, because after this set, the next stage is 40,000 in the next planting season. It is still from the job portal that we have vested the beneficiary. So whoever is interested should go on the job portal and get registered, and you'll be given a unique labor ID. That is the ID that is unique to you. Whenever we come there to say we need another set, you may just be lucky that you'll be among those that will pick.
I have so many messages, but most of the messages are still on this road issue. That's why I don't want to go back to it.
I told you about the uniqueness of road.
Yeah,
but those
that are
talking about
roads.
road, they should help us with something that will be like an information, well-managed information line. Please put all the roads of concern in your communities on a documented paper and give to your CDA. Let the CDA take it to the Ministry of Community Development and Cooperatives in Abeokuta. With that, we will have a database of roads needing attention, and the government will prioritize accordingly going forward. We already have some though, but we're saying do more. If
I guess, Dumake, you need to ask for.
In fact, and those of the messages are so many.
Succeeded with the desire or the determination of the administrator to stop illegal mining in the states.
Oh, we're doing pretty well there. Mining is on the exclusive list. It's a federal government exclusive preserve. However, we as a state, being the largest mining site in the whole of Nigeria, we are positioned to benefit because of the 13% derivative that is in the Constitution. Whatever the government earns from our state, we get 13% from it. However, we will not get that 13% if we allow illegal miners to thrive. So what we are doing is the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment is out there ensuring that all our mining sites are in the custody of those who have proper documents. And we interfaced with the Federal Ministry of Mines and Steel a few weeks back. And the agreement that we had in that meeting was, please, make it mandatory for approved and licensed miners to register their license with us before they proceed to site, so that we will know that whoever hasn't done that is most likely going to be an illegal miner. And the ministry has promised to work with us in this area. So we believe that things will get better for us in the mining sector.
All right, we apologize for all those who are sending questions, but I hope that for the little he has said has been able to address your challenge and your question regarding where you reside in Ogun State. That's where we'll be stopping the program today. Want to thank you for being a part of the program, and also thank Honorable Remmy Hazzan for taking our time to be here.
Don't forget that after the victory I was here and I said Ogun State people are in for a good time. I'm still standing by that same word. You are in for a good time.
I think I want to let me start congratulating the Ogun State people, because he said it and he's repeating. That means government is actually determined on keeping its promise. Thank you very much, sir.
Always a pleasure.
And we wish you a safe trip back to the state of Ogun. Traffic. My name is Banjibu Sari. See you on Monday.
And I'm Jumoke Michaels. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Best you get stepping, because if you pay your DSTV subscription now, we'll step you up to the next package.
This is so great.
So for the same price, you can step up to more action, step up to more drama, step up to more fun, and get more than you pay for. Just pay for your current package and get upgraded to the next package. Visit your multi-choice office or agent, pay your subscription, and step up.